Hello, everybody. How's it going? Looks like we're live. Give you guys all a moment to join up here. Something I wanted to check on anyway. Make sure those sunspots are behaving, which they are for the most part. So, I say, I don't know about this beard thing, guys. I don't know. I just don't know. Oh, good to see a lot of you guys joining here. John Cutler, what if I held you to that? What if I held you to that? I don't love the beard. I'll stick with it and see where it goes, but I don't love it. I don't love it. Hmm. So, do we have any questions about that thermosphere story from the morning show? Don't type them. I'm just going to talk about it. I'm not going to answer your questions. Um, just to reiterate, we are significantly above any thermospheric temperature marks that we hit during the last sunspot cycle. Thank you, King Wacky or King Whack. Teal Pear. Gotta love it. Did I miss somebody else's, by the way? Yep. Texas man, thank you for the teal pear. Um, we are at higher than last solar cycle's thermospheric temperatures, and we can only expect that to keep going up as the sunspot cycle fully hits its maximum phase here in the coming 6 months to 2 years. The reason this is interesting is because we are at the same peak sunspot level as we were during the last sunspot cycle. But the amount of X-class solar flaring, the amount of CMEs, and the amount of impacts from CMEs that we have had is lower. But as we have been showing, we have already matched last sunspot cycle's number of level 4 KP8 geomagnetic storms from moderate space weather events. And we have said that the reason why they are happening so much, why aurora are being seen in Texas and Florida, why the pink aurora are showing up so much, is because Earth's magnetic field continues weakening. Earth is left more and more vulnerable to lesser and lesser space weather events. So this makes sense. And it follows from that with this lesser space weather, able to have a bigger and bigger impact on the planet, that would include the thermospheric temperatures as well. Given the fact that the sunspot number is the same as it was at the peak of last cycle, solar flaring has been lower, CME impact has been lower. In theory, we shouldn't see a higher thermospheric temperatures, but we have been seeing greater geomagnetic storm activity, ergo the impact of that space weather on the Earth. We've been seeing a greater level of that than we would otherwise expect. And so we should also be expecting to see a higher thermospheric temperature. I hope that that makes this clear, that it, eliminates all the questions you guys have about it. This is Earth's increased vulnerability in the ongoing magnetic pole shift. Snot says, still watching playlists, so much info. Thanks. Right on, brother. So, yeah. Fire Dog says he's digging the beard. Keep your peak beard. Yeah, keep going. Your peak beard should coincide with peak solar maximum. Dude, what if that's like a year away? I am not doing this for a year. I already find it annoying. So I will mention another thing. Ethan Wood, you're lame. In addition to the usual links that we have down there below the video to our e-magazine, which please guys subscribe to the e-magazine. It's not only incredibly helpful and informative and an excellent review that you get every single month to keep up with everything and make sure you don't fall behind. Right now, it's the #1 way you can support the Observers. Greatly appreciated. We've got, of course, the link to the disaster video, which everybody should be watching to make sure we're all on the same page. It's got a link to my Twitter, which you should be following. Elon Musk's Twitter 2.0 is absolutely fantastic. No, I do not agree with everything Elon Musk does, but the new Twitter is fantastic. You're also going to see 2 links in the description box below the video right next to each other. The one on top says 40 degree, I don't remember what I wrote, like 40 degree nonsense. And below that, it says Mav is a fraud. If any of you have gotten to this point and you are still watching Mav, you still think that the 40 degree mark is some magically important thing, or that the end date is coming up like that, go down and learn something. The first link is me delivering you the facts, and the second one is to a video by somebody else who actually knows Mav, knows his history, and shows all the information that you need to wrap your head around his long history of fraud. He's actually been proven on it. He does not have an observatory. It doesn't exist. He's just literally taking a real topic, the magnetic pole shift, and grifting the bejesus out of it. If your ego is hurt by this, if you want to sit and type something angry to me right now, go watch those 2 links, comment there. Let's see what you have. Other than that, so we went over the thermosphere story. We went over the 40 degree nonsense, and I'm bringing it up, and I put those links down there because I'm seeing more and more people using it. EP, no, I don't use AI. Sometimes I have fun with ChatGPT just to see how little it knows about the ongoing situation, but I don't use it for anything like that. But anyway. So that's where we are right now. Now I will be paying attention to the chat. Is the pole shift somehow caused by the sun, or is the pole shift coincidental with a 12,000-year event? Matrix Jedi, go and watch the Earth disaster video. I explain why every last bit of this is happening. Every last bit of it. The cause, the effect from one thing to another. It is laid out very clearly, concisely, in a way that anyone, pretty much anyone, can consume and understand. People are saying the video Mav is a fraud is gone. Let me go ahead and see if I can find it then. Looking. Oh, the video is not available anymore? What? What about his second video? Oh, what a shame. He took them both down. Oh, that is so frustrating. Well, guys, thank you for telling me that. But man, that's annoying. So essentially, here's the backstory of it. Mav used to own a perfume company, and let's just say there was some financial funny business. For those who have been online for as long as I have, and I know that's a lot of you guys here in the comments, he has done this same thing, like 40 degrees, this or that. We are this many weeks, this many months away, 10 times since 2011. He's done it 10 times. Always with the same nonsense, always wrong. Always comes back a year or 2 later and does the whole thing all over again. This is a fact. Beyond that, what that video did show was a zoom in on his property where he claims to have his observatory, and no, there's absolutely nothing. In fact, As a property owner myself, I have to say the state of his place is embarrassing for anybody. I mean, like, take some pride in where you live. Carol, thank you, by the way. Uncommon News 777, a green renewable alternative to coal. Donkey dunk, Jesus. That's the story with Matt. But you don't even need to see all of his backstory to know he's a fraud. You don't need to have been here for a decade and seen how many times he has done the same thing over and over again. Go watch my video on the 40-degree nonsense. And when you hear it, it's like, oh, wait a minute. That makes perfect sense. What he's saying is nonsense. I guess that's all you got to do. Pinup Prepper says, do you anticipate solar kill shot possible with 6 months, 2-year cycle? If so, how devastating? PS going to sub to EMAG next. Thanks, Ben. I still think we're going to get through this sunspot cycle. We might have a close call. There might be some regional or continued localized impacts that are pretty severe. But I am still holding firm on what I said back in 2018 and 2019. Yes, we should be expecting a progression. Yes, we should be continuing to see evidence that the shift is continuing, but I still think we're going to make it through this sunspot cycle, which once again puts the focus on the 2030s and the 2040s in terms of when we really have to worry. Of course, takes long enough to prep that doesn't mean you can wait until the 2030s to do anything about it. Everybody should be prepping right now. And that doesn't necessarily mean by tomorrow you need to have 20 years of freeze-dried foods. This is continuing to stock food, continuing to stock water, continuing to get seeds, continuing to scope out the best locations, continuing to do the mental preparation, continuing to do the physical and betterment of your body. Fix your diet. Quit putting toxins in your body. Get some exercise. Get as healthy as humanly possible. All those things need to happen in short order. Looking for the next good question. Ben's a hairy potato, but he gives interesting info. Bruv, what the does that even mean? Not the predicate of the sentence, the first part of it. What does that even mean? I'm a hairy potato? Yeah, I do want to shave. I don't like this thing, but I promised you guys I was going to try it out. I'm trying it out. All right, here's a question. Shouldn't it be 12,960 years, half of the great year, 25,920? That number is incorrect. It's based on precession, which most people have a very incorrect understanding of. You have to add in apsidal precession as well, and combined, they come out somewhere around 24,000 years. So that's where this whole great year thing, I know it's talked about all the times online. It's wrong. Have to add in the apsidal precession for that one. All right, got to scroll up. Got to scroll. Corey Good grifts off your space weather reports. I know, him and 1,000 other people, but I don't really care. Who are you again? Says, all right, well, I'm going to add that into this. Somebody said, Corey Good grifts off your space weather reports. I know. And then a couple comments down. Who are you again? I'm the guy that every single person talking about space weather, talking about the pole shifts, listens to, has learned from, and takes their cues from. It is my book on these things that is used in 38 universities. Still have a long way to go to get to where my Weatherman's Guide to the Sun solar terrestrial physics textbook is used in. That's close to 100. I'm the guy who has been doing this daily for 12 years. I'm the guy who is as reliable as the sun coming up every day. I'm the guy who has peer-reviewed papers with co-authors who are statistics professors and NASA scientists. I'm the guy who discovered that the solar polar magnetic fields are what triggers magnitude 8 and higher earthquakes. Now shut up and listen. Who are you again? I'm also the guy who acts like a kid here on the program because I like having fun. Carol Howard, with the loss of protection, the KP hits to the body seem worse. I would go ahead and I would agree with that. Yes, we should be seeing higher thermospheric effects. Yes, we should be seeing greater and greater KP geomagnetic storms from lesser and lesser space weather. We should also be seeing what we've been seeing, greater disruption to the jet streams, greater disruption to the ocean flows. You recall that we saw that the Kuroshio current is having a record meander event. Basically, what's happening to the Gulf Stream is also happening to the Kuroshio current. And this also goes for the impact on biophysics, whether that's stroke, heart rate, heart attacks, blood pressure, or the psychological impacts. Remember, we should be seeing a decline in cognitive prowess and an increase in emotional instability and fear, panic, and anxiety reactiveness. So, yes, Carol, I would say you are absolutely correct on that front. Scrolling. Rabbit hole. Good Lord, do I have to read this first? Hey, Ben, something about James Webb seeing stuff. Didn't scientists see something about a micronova on Betelgeuse or something? Anyways, thoughts. So they haven't called that one a micronova, but it fits the description perfectly. They have all these different weird names for these miniature novas. The one that Betelgeuse had was called a dust production event. Basically, Betelgeuse had a micronova. And in fact, its micronova, relatively speaking, is less than what we expect from the sun when it goes. Now, since Betelgeuse is quite the magnanimous star, pound for pound comparing the eruption events, yeah, okay, Betelgeuse probably released more. But if you were to like scale the Betelgeuse star down to what the sun is, its dust production event is even less of an event than what we expect from our sun. Actually, a fairly good question there, Rabbit Hole. Lord Durag the Red. 1, are you familiar with 1111 phenomenon? Yes. 2, what is your take? Numerology in general, there is something to it. People on the internet take it too far. Where to find the truth can be exceptionally challenging because the moment you start to realize some of it's real, all of it looks real, but it's not. This is where it gets challenging. 3, I experienced it and still do and believe it is a warning about the sun itself. I talked about many years prior to 2011, blah, 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 all on. Fair enough, my friend. All right. Awaiting the next good question. Fun good. Are we in the galactic current sheet now? Yes, we are in the starting part of it. Now remember, the galactic current sheet as it passes us, there's the start of it, there's the middle point, which is the magnetic null point, the galactic magnetic reversal point, and then there's the end of it as well. We are within the first block of it. When we hit that galactic magnetic reversal point, that's when the electrodynamics get shorted out on the surface of the sun. Its photoluminescence drops, its solar wind outflow diminishes. Material is able to build up in the solar corona, creating a pseudo shell that then gets blasted off in the solar micronova. Excellent question. Finally made it to a live stream, I'm guessing. Good to see you, Celestial Wolf. Brother, you look fine. I appreciate that. I think I look good from here down. I don't know about this. I don't know about this. This is highly questionable. Highly questionable. From the neck down, we roll it. But I see a comment here that's saying, yes, for a few months now, we've been in the current sheet. No. Since 1859, we have been inside the galactic current sheet. Just so happens, that was the year we got the Carrington event. That was the year Earth's magnetic pole shift began. Hard to really see that as a coincidence. Looking. Saul, do you recommend we stay indoors underground during the day and come out during dusk dawn as our protection decreases? I don't think we need to worry about that at this moment. When the sun turns red, yeah, try not to be out in the middle of the day. But for the time being, the increases in UV, the increases in charged particles are very minimal. That's why the main things we're seeing impacts on are things like the thermosphere, things like the jet streams. It should be fairly obvious when things get to a deeper level. Question: does investing in Observer Ranch mean building a house there? No. Investing in the Observer Ranch operation is wholly separate from being a member of the community and having the opportunity to actually be a part of that ongoing process and the disaster plans and living there, et cetera, et cetera. If you are interested in either one of those, go to observerranch.com, contact us through the contact form there. I hope this is the only time I have to say that in this live stream, but we'll see. Okay. Liz says, quick question. Why do you advise to stay off the mountains and be at the Eastern Basin set? Thanks. Couple reasons. One, mountaintops are going to be wrecked with lightning. If you're like, oh, I'm up on top of the mountain, I'm definitely safe up here from the tsunami, maybe. That's not the only thing that's coming. The eastern base is a mile in elevation. That's enough. And the mountains absolutely protect you in terms of being a lightning rod. Having mountains right next to you eliminates, in the case of Observer Ranch, it eliminates 9% of the sky. That's a big deal for cosmic rays. And on top of that, it's much colder up on the mountains. And for where we are in Colorado, for the time being, one of our only risks here is for when the sun takes out power before the crustal flip, we're going to have to work hard to stay warm during the winter. Now, that can be as significantly easy as just making sure you have enough firewood or pellets or whatever you're going to use, making sure you have something subterranean so that you are geothermally protected. But again, most mountaintops, like the actual tip top of a mountain, is not necessarily the best idea. Good question, though. Fair. Some pretty good questions here. First 23 minutes. I am fail-safe. You are correct. This planet does need a good cleansing. Gregor, what about getting enough calories? Two things. To be at Observer Ranch, you are required to have a substantial supply. And two, the vast majority of our community planning is based around two things. One, threat detection and prevention. And two, sustainability. Animals, agriculture, things like that. That's why you prepare. That's why you find a group. That's why you get with like-minded individuals and you do something like this. Fair enough, though. Pete, hey, Ben, beard looks good. Don't say that. Do you think what is written in Revelations was a future warning or documenting an event that already happened 6,000 years ago? Where the same thing happens over and over again. This is a cycle. So either one, really. There's nothing new under the sun. That which has been before will be again. Good question, though. Is the 100,000-year ice age cycle standing alone? Is the Heinrich event two events compared? Can we expect the next ice age soon? That is an issue. We should be at the end of this interglacial. Interglacials should only last about one geomagnetic cycle. We are exactly one geomagnetic cycle since this interglacial began. The previous ones appear to have only lasted one geomagnetic cycle. So we could be going back into the next glacial period here. But a lot of people misunderstand that. Go look up a picture of the Laurentide ice sheet. And it's not like the entire United States or other places, even at last glacial maximum 24,000 years ago, an enormous fraction of the world was still habitable, was not under ice. So the answer to your question, Jerry, is yeah, I think we probably could expect that to be one of the aftermath symptoms, but that shouldn't be something that makes you too discouraged, put it that way. Okay. I need to start doing this quicker because I'm missing things. Shirt is great, but the beard is smoking hot. I love the channel. I'm not enjoying the beard. I'm not enjoying it. John Q. Glass. I'm not going to answer specific questions like that about the ranch here. If you are actually serious about getting involved and being a part of it and making those very serious commitments, we can have that discussion. Oh, hey, have I ever told you guys my opinion on Denver? Oh. And you are gone. Love it when the trolls come out. Trolls, thank you for making it so easy for me to tell who you are. What's the best source of soy or boosters after? I don't know what you're asking there, rabbit hole. I'm just going to assume it's a joke. It seems that many of you have heard, just as I'm reading the chat here, it seems many of you have already heard my opinion on the city of Denver. Days says, why does Denver suck? All big cities suck. All big cities suck. The vast majority of them are the reason why the term liberal shithole exists. I don't have this opinion about everyone who's a liberal, everyone who's a Democrat, but a liberal shithole is a real thing. That term exists for a reason. Denver's the biggest one I know, and I have seen New York, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. None of them come close. 2, Denver is one of the most evil places I have ever seen, and I am fully aware of the satanic stuff in Washington, D.C. I'm fully aware of the satanic stuff in San Francisco. Denver trumps it. There are literal satanic covens all over that place. That and just walking along the street, you can get poisoned from all the hair dye. The moon was plasma pelted in the past. Earth 2, breaking catastrophe into sections. Do you agree? Earth dome emergency shelter is a safe zone or death trap? Earth shake first or plasma pelt first? What's your bet? So I do like earth domes or like a hobbit house. The plasma pelt is what causes the earth shake. And they happen basically back to back. So you could call that one before the other, but it's basically the same event. Yeah, Denver sucks. Can Popo trigger a tsunami in the Gulf of Mexico? I doubt it, but there's a asphalt volcano in the Gulf of Mexico that I do expect to go off, which should also set off New Madrid, and that will be part of what creates the sloshing there. I wouldn't want to live on the Gulf Coast, that's for sure. Any thought on future sources of power? Electric is so vulnerable. Any way we can do it better for the next cycle? Not that I know of. I'm sure there is. Mechanical crank things are a pretty good idea, whether that's water driven or wind driven. I think that's probably going to be how we restart, either that or steam. That would be my best guess. And given the importance of such things, it might be the best idea to just go with one of those most basic power helpers rather than trying to reinvent the old wheel, especially when lives are on the line. Susan Griffin, good to see you, my friend. Do another show with Archaics. I don't control his channel. Dude has to invite me. Mm. Chelsea, I was just wondering that. David, who hurt you? Like the guy's username is like David Ben, but like he literally made an account just for the purposes of trolling me. Do you know when you take anti-aircraft fire? It's not when you're over the middle of the Atlantic and there's nothing below you. Mm. So Earthwise, what do you see for the immediate future that might happen? Asks JP Rothschild. You want to go ahead and explain your name first? Scott Cummings, C60. You mean Shungite? Thumbs up. So how are you going to maintain the beard with no razors, trimmers, electric shavers? I don't plan on it. And I definitely never said I did. Air Crete, what's up, buddy? I love you, Ben. What's wrong with Alamosa area besides the deadly cold in the winter and the low rainfall currently? Alamosa is not a terrible place. Yeah, it's not terrible. There's certainly worse places to be. No, I don't think oxygen's going to drop majorly across the planet. Nothing's going to happen this time that didn't happen in the previous cycles. And in none of the previous cycles did we have an anoxic event, which would kill most of the things on land. It never happened before, and it's not going to happen again now. Okay, so JP Rothschild, I'm actually going to answer this one. I have two friends. One is in the Army, one is in the Navy, and they both work for intelligence. And they both told me the Earth's core is now in rotation, which means it's spinning in the opposite direction. Super false. Super false. Here is what actually happened. For a long time, there were people who thought that there was a super rotation to the core, meaning that it spun slightly faster than the mantle and crust, so such that the core was spinning a little faster than everything else. It was by a tiny degree. Not everyone agreed with it. The newest data suggests that nope, that is definitely not the case. We all spin as one at the same speed. I had to go over this when that paper came out several weeks ago because everybody misinterpreted it. Some people were like, the core has stopped spinning. Some people were like, the core is spinning the other way. No. And there's no data to suggest that that is the case either. Your friends are incorrect, Rothschild. I'm no longer scared of or concerned about your name. It's just a name. Okay, I'm up. Yes, I am. Now silence. Cállate. Marika. Ben, do you have an opinion? Of course you do, on Metatron's cube and the name or term. No, I don't really have much of an opinion. I think that stuff's interesting, but I haven't looked into it enough to have any serious opinions on it. If the Pacific goes over the Rockies, will that not flood Arizona too? Well, luckily, the Pacific isn't what's attacking the United States this time. It's going to be the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico. Layla says, do you think it is likely the core has a core? Yes. There's the outer core, what they call the inner core, but inside of that is water, and at the absolute center of it is sonoluminescent plasma, star in a jar type stuff. You remind me of my late BFF. Appreciate all you do, bro. Could you quickly explain how we discovered the LLSVPs? So we do have the ability to track seismic waves as they go through the planet, not just through the crust. We can actually, when one happens here, we can detect it all the way through the planet on the other side. And the speed at which they move through tells us a lot about what's below. I do think there's some questions about when it goes directly through the core, but when it's just going through the crust, mantle, and then back out through the crust, it is pretty darn accurate. And that's how they discovered that there are these two large pluming LLSVPs coming out of the core, protruding up all the way to several significant volcanoes. So many people are like, what about my area? What about my area? What about my area? I'm not doing that. Tennessee's in trouble, Vinay. Any thoughts on Aiden Mattis and the Lore Lodge's response to you? No, I haven't seen it. I get like a bajillion emails every day, and I did notice he sent me one not too long ago, like complaining like a little girl that I hadn't like jumped up and like begged him to like come on his show and responded to his previous emails, which I didn't see because I get a bajillion emails every day. So I think it's very unlikely after that that I will be going on his show. Pride goeth before the fall. Could you at least get the quote right? There's two sentences to that quote. Pride is in the first one. The fall is at the end of the second one. If you're going to just spout off stuff and try to seem biblical, try to seem like you know something, at least get the quote right. Savage clownery. Lynn says, at the end of the next end of the road, you mentioned the role of oil. Could you elaborate, like its financial role or its purpose inside the lithosphere? The next end of the world, that video, you mean the one from like a couple years ago? I think that it's possible oil could be a significant lubricant for the planet. Also, back then, I didn't really understand as much about the difference between biotic and abiotic oil. Probably not too much of a dearth of it down there in the crust. Offering North Texas oceanfront property, oceanfront installation availability 2030s, 2040s. It's an investment into the future. Buy your own boat. I like it. Man, I suck at scrolling. Serious question. Do we just need tinfoil hats or should we start fabricating foil underwear too? I enjoy having a natural PP, but they are after it. I thought you said it was a serious question, Dano. I wouldn't be wearing tinfoil hats. I don't think that's a good idea. William Babbitt, thank you for the flying teal pair. Would you associate the massive fires that struck up over a wide area in Quebec just recently to possible hole in the ozone or something to do with the magnetic field? I haven't looked into those massive fires. I don't know anything about them, actually. Don't know the first thing about them. I mean, in general, yes, we should be seeing more things like that, but I would also expect a pretty significant particle event to come along through it. Simply having a weaker ozone is not going to do it. It would be at the peaks of the particle flux, and we definitely didn't have one of those recently. Maybe I'll look into that after the show's over. Big 1580, hello, good to see you. Joseph Card, I have asked a few serious questions in all capital letters. Well, there's about 10,000 chats on here right now, and I can't answer them all. I don't even get to see them all. Cry more. Maybe Ben didn't answer my question. There is not a single one of you watching this who, if you knew all the facts, would trade lives with me. You can't imagine how challenging this is. JDK, good to see you. Thank you very much, my friend. Well, a lot of you guys thought that was funny. Oh, that's a good one, Corey. Why birds chirping at 2, 3, and 4 a.m. every night lately? I would call that the morning. I've noticed that. I've noticed birds chirping in the middle of the night like I used to only remember happening at sunrise. Animals know a lot of things we don't know. Froggy says, I'm only used to hearing your voice, not seeing you in person. Tell me you haven't been paying attention to the channel very much without telling me you haven't been paying attention to the channel very much. I'm not trying to give you shit, but for real though. Gemini Home Entertainment, I'm going to answer your question. I'm not actually losing my temper. As I have said 1,000 times, I act this way, a specific, intentional way on these live streams, so that for the people who have that weakness, that tweak inside of them that can't handle it, they can get to experience it. Because I'll tell you what, I want as many observers as possible to be hard, to be able to handle what's coming. And if you can't handle this kind of interaction, you are. What's your plan when the sun attacks if this is getting to you? That is why, as I have said 1,000 times before, I behave in a very specific and intentional manner on these live streams. Next. Dano, it makes me extremely nervous when you start a comment with, hi, Ben, first-time observer, numerous caller. Oh. Just a mammoth donkey joke. Well, I suppose I can handle that. Lord, thank you for the teal pair. Appreciate it as always. Love the teal pair. Oh, Barbara thinks I'm a joke. I'm going to now slip into a deep depression and contemplate suicide for the rest of the day. Maybe I should call or text one of the dozens of professors or NASA scientists in my phone who call me asking for my opinion on stuff that's coming out and explain to them that I'm not going to be able to handle all of their questions anymore. And I'm not going to be able to act as a nexus for all these people making these discoveries because Barbara thinks I'm a fucking joke. Commercial. Can you guys tell? Like, I'm so entertained by the trolls. Like, I love getting this out. I don't know what I would do if all of you guys were just nice to me. Isn't it like slightly cooler that like I deliver all of this and then in between I just smoke the bejesus out of trolls every time they pop their head up? Stormy's not here to snipe them, so it's my job today. Some people have more electricity in their body. Will that hurt them or be more beneficial to them? There's a big difference between positive and negative. If you saw the last live, was that the last live stream we did when I talked about that? Anyway, yes, there is something to how much electricity you have, which actually is more about how many toxins and how many microplastics you have in your body, which take down that level. But it also matters how you're polarized, positive or negative. I recommend positive. Drop some names of what? What, you want me to drop the names of the professors and NASA scientists who are literally risking their careers to try to figure this stuff out and share information with each other? Do you remember what happened to the two people who co-authored with me? Dr. Uyen from NASA was basically run out of the country. He's in Thailand. Dr. Holloman, he got booted from his university, and now he's at another one. These people are extremely helpful to me. They're extremely helpful to each other. They're trying to do a good thing, and exposing them would do nothing but hurt them and stop the help that they could give me. No, I'm not going to name a damn thing. Snitches get stitches. Marxist much liar, question mark, the Batman. Marxist much. I can't believe this has to be said, but Marxism, communism, fascism, socialism are the bottom of the barrel toilet bullshit. Sean Samuel said red flag is equating NASA to science. So what? All 180,000 people that work from them are in some secret conspiracy and out to get us? Are you retarded? The people I'm talking about are the people who actually see what's going on, but they know they can't go against the narrative. They know that they can't even walk down the hall and talk to their other individuals in their own departments about this. They certainly can't go to the department head. So what do? They go online and they start looking for other people who are noticing this. They start looking for other people talking about this. They start looking at the peer-reviewed journals for other professors who are publishing on these same things. Somehow I have become a quasi-nexus for about 70 of them. And right along with everything else, they tell me how much they hate what's going on in the mainstream. They hate the propaganda. They hate what a BS organization NASA or their university has become. And they have no other choice but to run this underground network type situation. And yeah, they do good science. One thing I'll say for sure, 99.99% of you out there, I'm better at math than you. I can peer review this stuff very easily, and I do. Anybody who thinks that, oh, every professor or everybody at NASA or every word out of NASA must be wrong and is BS, you have gone right off the cliff. The truth is always found somewhere in between the mainstream bullshit and the craziest conspiracy theories you can find on the internet. There is a dichotomy of both in everything. The sooner you get your head around that, the sooner you'll be able to actually make sense of what's going on. Hi, Paula. Good to see you. That was a good Ruby Raw joke. Aziz Light. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Baby Yoda, just getting here. Howdy and a hat tip. You have answered all my questions already. Love it. Tim, I had alpha-gal syndrome. Thanks to you and others, I went totally carnivore 4 months ago. After 2 months, I could eat red meat again. Booyah, baby. There you go. Marxist much liar? I'm Batman. Fucking clown. What was that awesome title you gave to the COVID virus? Why all the good patriots being lured to Texas and Florida? Elon boring Bastrop, Texas. Bastrop, Texas. That's a good question. What if the magnetic pole flip can be stopped? What if I wake up tomorrow and I'm a giraffe? It'd be cool. Show me some evidence that it can be stopped. Show me some evidence it doesn't need to happen. I know this. Without some hardship, without failing at a whole bunch of things, and without suffering, you can be no man. Women, you can be good women without suffering. To be a real man, you need to suffer. You need to fail at things. You need to try and get knocked down in the dirt. There is an importance to the positive and the negative. Just got to make sure you survive them both. Eric Redding, thank you for the teal pair. Appreciate that. Hello, is this Ben's Levin and Beatum Daycare Center? Yes, it is, Baby Yoda. Subcoder, my buddy. What's up, man? Thank you for the teal pair. Comment about losing your temper. Funny how highly tempered is equated to pacifism and being a doormat. I don't know what to say. Becca Truly Stewart, childbirth. You do not need to bear a child to become a great woman. In fact, I would say that guys out there looking for a potential mom for their kids, find a great woman before you impregnate them. Two different things, Becca. I didn't say women can't go through it. I'm saying you don't need it to be a great woman. To be a great man, you must suffer. Hello again, Lord. Nanoparticle aluminum and aerial particulate injection patents blocks vitamin D absorption. Remember D3 push at doctor's offices, box stores, depopulation, COVID fail or scam, or solar reflective health. So it's a real thing, but it's only about 1% of what you hear on the internet. I am not going to go into that for like the 100th time that I've done so here on the internet. Just know that yes, geoengineering, sky spraying is real. The vast majority of it is actually water vapor spraying or salts for cloud seeding. And the other stuff is mostly nonsensical. When it comes to the actual aluminum and barium sprays, one, that has to be done in the stratosphere or else it doesn't do anything. Two, in the stratosphere, you can't actually see the airplane. If you can see the airplane that's spraying, it's cloud seeding, it's water vapor, or it's salts. Three, Those things have specific gravity hang times of 1 to 2 years. So whoever's doing it, they are spraying themselves, they are spraying their children, and they know it. It is a calculated risk. And here's the stuff that people don't like to hear. And if you're going to go blah, 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 about it, then you can just off. Earth is changing less than the sun, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. Earth is doing better than every other planet in the solar system. Oh, but humans are trying to make it worse. What's really going on? They like being at the top of the pyramid. The moment the disaster strikes, the pyramid crumbles and they've got to rebuild. They like being at the top of the pyramid. It's the best way for them to prepare as best they can because they're not all done preparing. And they want to stay at the top of the pyramid for as long as humanly possible. What are they doing? Dano, what did you put in a super chat that was so bad that you got sniped by John Mallory? In a super chat. That's brutal, yo. Ben, what do you think about the 5 years of extra heat, 2024, 2029? I have no idea what you're talking about. I have absolutely no idea what that means. There's a guy on YouTube who says June 17th pole shift. Yeah, his name is Mav, and I spent about 15 minutes at the start of the show explaining why he is a fraud. He is a fraud. He is a fraud. He is a fraud. Fraud, 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 frog, fraud. Go back and watch the start of the show. Project Bluebeam failed miserably. Sorry. I know a lot of you guys believe that and are so terrified of it. It failed miserably. Humans failed the... All right, going down. Salty fist bump. Yeah. What's up, buddy? I like frogs. Okay, Maggie, fair enough. I don't really have a problem with frogs, unless they're frauds. If the frog is just a frog, I have no problem. But if the frog is a fraud, especially if his name is Mav, then I have a problem. Welcome to my house. Mav lives in Denver. Sandra, that's funny. He actually lives in the UK, where his previous frauds took place. Plastic bicycles if you can't build a Big Bird. That's not the worst idea. Are you a natural or trained? A natural or trained what? All right. I need a stretch break. Denver sucks in the chat. Oh, that feels good. Off-grid therapy, a little bit of both. I had to unlearn a lot of the bullshit I learned before. But even while I was learning it officially, I sort of was starting to figure out that it was BS and I could see a lot of this. But when you're 21 and 22 years old, there's only so much you're actually capable of doing. I remember feeling like such an adult when I was 21, 22. And then I remember my dad telling me your brain won't be fully mature until you're in your late 30s or even early 40s. And I had no way to believe it. I couldn't even fathom such a thing, but it's real. Denver does suck. I'm seeing a lot of you saying Denver sucks. Why do you guys not like Denver? Will the winds change direction? I'm concerned about volcano on Hawaii. Yeah, I'm concerned about every volcano in Hawaii. Hawaii is not a good place to be for this. People in Denver buy Bud Light at Target. Ben, the flood map stops before Del City, Texas, 4,500 feet safe? Question mark. Denver sucks. It does, Southern Bama. I have no idea. The flood map was not an absolute thing. It's just a generalization based on the height that the last tsunami would have had to be to get through the Rockies. Granted, this one is coming the other way this time. And a guess based on which bodies of water and where they should be moving based on this time's tilt. I would not take that as an absolute, just something to help get your head around where the water's going. Fair question, though, Bama. Please tell us what will happen if you have metal in your body, says Amy, who hasn't seen the 1,000 other times I've talked about this. Maybe nothing. Maybe it melts. Maybe it starts shooting little electric bolts inside of your body. I don't know. It also is going to, if there is that possibility, it's going to be better or worse based on where you are in the world. What is your elevation? What is your latitude? What is your diet? What is surrounding you? What are you wearing that day? How's your mental state? How's your body's energetic field that wraps around you? Have you been taking care of it, strengthening it as much as possible? Are people still asking about the Quebec fires? Come on, show. Will satellite malfunction be the canary in the coal mine? Maybe. Maybe. It is also possible that they won't do anything until it happens. Ben, do you have a favorite religion? Most of you guys know what my religion is, but it really doesn't matter for the purposes of this conversation. How do you control your body's polarity? Diet, exercise, healing traumas, meditation, being positive. Does vodka strengthen the body? No. What was the height of tsunami or wave you used in the model? Denver really sucks. Yes, it does, Bama. No, I said in that video, I can't remember sitting here right now. What I did was I looked how high it would have been to get through the Rockies, and then I just applied that on the thing. 4,500 feet. It's very close to it's going to be a close one. What up, Saul? How you doing? What's up, Barb? How you doing? 200 feet. A little higher, buddy. Brad Lee, if it's meant to be, there's nothing we can do about these disasters. I wholeheartedly disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree. Get away from the ocean, get high in elevation, have a way to go underground, and get yourself as healthy as humanly possible, because that strengthens your body's energy field. Barbarian, thank you for the teal pair. Gotta love it. Be the Light says, just sending a little digital love and appreciation for what you do. Keep my friend. Becca, that's an interesting concept. I don't know if that's legitimate or not. That seems like one of those pipe dreams that the Ascension folk talk about. I would say that's unlikely. It's an awesome idea, though. I wish it was true. Taco, what's up, buddy? Denver sucks. What part of Mexico is the safest geographically? The one just south of the Sierra Diablos. Does that help? Like, find out where Jeff Bezos's Blue Origin launch facility is, then just look down. Another teal pair. Thank you, buddy. Ricardo, did the snow melt at Observer Ranch change any plans? No. The snow melt loosed about, well, at this point, probably 500 million gallons through 8 Mile Creek. It was exactly what I was hoping for. Daddy picked a good place. Rabbit hole, I'm not answering that. I get it, though. All right, guys, we've been doing this for an hour. We started off like really with a bang. Absolutely fantastic, fantastic questions. P, the answer is yes, but I don't want to talk about Observer Ranch too much more here on the channel. Phi squared, what drill cores? I haven't done any. Almost like they know which places to not drill so as to not unearth evidence that they don't want everybody knowing. Get healthy, y'all, says Rebecca. I agree. Want a prime location property blessed with self-sustainable necessities. Ben, what is the water guy Mark's last name and site contact? I don't know. The guy who did the stuff at my house is named Nevin, and he's probably going to be doing it at the ranch too. GDNPB, thank you, appreciate it. Lynn D says, was the Laurentide ice sheet an accumulation or a flash frozen result of the inertial tsunami last pole shift? It's a good question. Probably a little bit of both. Probably a flash freeze and a massive scale and then an accumulation on top of it. Can I recap? I just got here. What, you want me to recap the last 68 minutes I've been talking? Earth changes channel reliable. No. No one explains how to survive the ice. Avoid it. Big Burb on the road yet? I don't know. I got to ask Rocky. I haven't talked to him in a couple of days. I know he's very busy. Dr. Will Franklin. I emailed you back, buddy. I got your email. I sent you one back. You need Starlink. Yeah, I really do. So, yeah, I know Andrew Hall and I know his theory on it. It's too extreme because his version would kill anybody for hundreds and hundreds of miles. And these strikes were witnessed, carved on rock, told in stories. There's something he's missing. I don't dislike the guy. There is an issue there that needs to be overcome. What was your takeaway from your tour of San Jose? I didn't do a tour of San Jose. I arrived at the airport. I went to my hotel. The next day I gave a talk and then I left. Scrolling. I wonder if the Mayans were correct, but off by 20 or 30 years. Maybe. I don't know. I also don't know if they're like, I didn't dive deep into the Mayan stuff. When that stuff was coming out around 2012, I dove into the Earth evidence and the Earth data, which is why in early 2012, I was like, guys, 2012 is not it. You don't need to be worried. The world's not ending this year. So I don't know as much about the Mayans, but I don't even know for sure that the Mayans claimed that things were going to end right now. And in all that time being just 20 or 30 years off, if that is indeed what they were saying, I would still say that's pretty darn good. Skeletor, good to see you. Thank you, my friend. WE3 says, I believe it can be stopped. 1, we have a difference of opinion. 2, should it be stopped? Were you listening to what I said about the necessity of the positive and the negative? Yeah, sure. Why not? Why not, Bo? Hello, Visionist. Thanks for the comment. Toto, I was an Electric Universe individual. And then the Thunderbolts tried to get me to join their group. And I got an inside look. And then I took a little bit deeper look into what they said was required of me in order to join the group. No gracias. And then I learned that Christian Birkeland, Anthony Peratt, Hannes Alfvén had already come up with all of this. It's the plasma cosmology. And it was just being twisted by the Thunderbolts to support Velikovsky's idea and David Talbot's Saturn idea. Increase salt to not freeze, like unsalted. Stay salty. Yeah, it's one of the reasons I like to stay salty. Thank you, Lord. Immortal fan. It sounds weird saying thank you, Lord, after your comments, dude. Just hits my ear awkwardly. The ice and water recedes and the weather becomes stable. Do you think it will be a wasteland? No. I think it will be fertile, and I think that a new golden age begins. Kobe Shumway says, I got up and left because you said you were done 10 minutes ago. Did I say I was done 10 minutes ago? Does anybody remember me saying, okay, this is over, I'm done talking now? Did I say that here? Not pure blood if you have tattoos. Sorry, AM, PM. Eat a dick. Like my tattoos. They all mean something very important, especially the ones right here. You're not pure blood. And the pure blood thing is about, and first of all, if you want to say like, oh, this is, tell me your diet. Tell me about the microplastics you're exposed to. What kind of furniture is in your house? What kind of clothes do you wear? Pure to pure blood doesn't exist on this planet. Pure blood means you're not vaccinated. Denver still sucks. Sabrina, you might have it there. Yeah, I said I'm done talking about the ranch. That might be it. Yes, I can palm a basketball. As of 4 years ago, I could still dunk. And as of about a week and a half ago, I can still pull down the rim. There wasn't a basketball around, but I was able to jump up and pull it down. Not bad for a 38-year-old, 6-foot tall dude. White guy. Tep, not talking about the childhood vaccinations, just the COVID jab. Mike, I agree. Wearing clothes and getting jabbed is a bad comparison, I think. I also think tattoos and the COVID jab is a terrible comparison, don't you think? We have devolved away from question answering, I notice, observers. Bovis, you and Space Weather Woman are both salty. What's up with that? One, I've explained why I'm salty and the purpose of it on this channel and for these individuals. She is salty because she is a shill for mainstream nonsense. She's a thirst trap and she knows it. Clown. Why are you feeding into these guys? Robert, how many times am I going to say why I do that on this show? That's half of the point of me doing these live streams, to provide exactly this for the exact reason I said. Robert R.I., were you not listening? Some of y'all have the attention span of a damn 4-year-old. Would 11,000 feet in the Sierra Mountains be high enough to avoid the deluge? Yeah, that's high enough to avoid the deluge, but the Sierra Mountains aren't where I would be. And 11,000 feet is going to be problematic for other reasons, like all the ones I said earlier in the show. I miss one there? No. Rabbit hole. Hello. Do not be surprised if you see UFOs after the flood. Just make sure, Ben, to document in clay that they are not gods, just aliens or breakaway types. I'm on it. CH, question, what about disabled people who have disabilities as part of OR? I thought I said I didn't want to talk about the ranch anymore. 2, there is a disabled person who is already part of OR. 2, actually. And yet they are finding ways to make themselves useful. How about that? SJ Compton, thank you for the teal pair. Jason, appreciate the birthday cake. Westy the White, hi Ben and Kat, hi from crazy Washington State. It is crazy. Here from the start, really appreciate you. God bless you there in that corner of the country. Snot, ha ha ha, so much fun. I agree, this is fun. CH, did you just ask the question about people with disabilities again? Ah, yes. Glad to see you got it, CH. AM, appreciate it. JDK, he wrote, disabled does not equal not capable. I agree. That's why I gave him a chance. Glad I did. Ben, you need a holiday? I strongly disagree. This is my holiday. Can you not tell I'm having fun? Can anybody go to the ranch? Absolutely not. Do you have chicken? I'm not answering these specific questions about the ranch and what are our plans and what is this, that. No, 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 no. How about this? Get chickens. I will say that. What was the Carrington event of 1859? Next. Westy, thank you for the teal pair. AM, I don't know what you typed because you retracted it. Donators are only allowed at the ranch. Oh, says the idiot who forgot that I said that we're going to be moving on to the skills portion and the supplies portion. And eventually, it's going to be an open RV campground where any of you guys can come visit. That question was clearly about showing up at the ranch for the disaster scenario. And the answer to that is no. The people who helped fund it, the people who helped build it, the people who helped sustain it will be welcome at the ranch. No, donators only. Well, yeah, people who donate their money, yes. People who donate their time, people who donate their effort, people who donate their intelligence, their supplies, people who contribute. It's a very socialist bullshit comment there, Rostradamus. What, you mean to tell me I have to work or I starve? Yeah. Welcome to Earth. Forgive my French, fucking pussy. What's your opinion on, damn it, I suck at scrolling so bad. What's your opinion on the current situation with the Saharan dust? Question, here's one, Waves. I agree with pretty much everything that that Jimmy Corsetti from Bright Insight says. Jimmy's a real nice guy, by the way. We've texted a bunch. We DM each other on Twitter. He's good people. In case you were wondering, Jimmy Corsetti is good people. Hey, Ben, my wife had shown me videos that shows booms and trumpet sounds that seem to come from the sky. Are these space weather related? Very possible. It could also be them digging underground. Move the ranch to Florida in your dreams, bruv. Why are so many backing out of the ranch? Okay, well, the people that have backed out of the ranch have done so for financial reasons or because they had family health issues. One guy got hit by a car. Another guy, the whole reason he joined was not for him, was for his daughter. His daughter got pancreatic cancer and died. A lot of people joined in and didn't exactly realize how much it was going to cost to do everything that they wanted to do, and then they have backed out. In total, we're talking about 6 or 7% of the individuals either had something very unfortunate happen to them or their families, or they are financially not able to handle it. Does that answer your question, JR? So many backing out of the ranch, 6 or 7%. Jimmy is a bro. He's a good dude. Does it pay the bills? Does what pay the bills? The ranch isn't open yet, clown. All right, JR, you're being a rainbow person. Goodbye. My name's legal title was my photography adventure. I go by Red or Dragon most often. There's only one true Lord, not me. Don't be uncomfortable. I like that comment, buddy. Dragon. Oh, I love that. JR, I sniped you and it sniped every single one of your bullshit comments. Ah, bye-bye. Norin Rad, love your sense of humor and dealing with those who don't get it, Ben. I love it too. This is like therapy. With so little knowledge retained from epoch to epoch, what's the possibility of a memory language reset similar to Tower of Babel? Ugh, terrifyingly real. Terrifyingly real. I have a ranch. How can I do what you are doing? I have no idea, Stella. And it might be nearly impossible because here's the thing, it's hard enough to create an intentional community. It's much harder to create an intentional community where everybody has the mindset of how you're going to be prepping or how you're going to be doing this or this, which means that for this, your intentional community has to be based pretty much out of only observers. Because what are you going to do? Convince a bunch of random people of everything in observer world and then convince them to join you? I don't know. That's a tough sell. It's a tough sell. Love your sense of humor and common sense, sending encouragement. Thank you, Westy. I appreciate that. Awaking Ye. What is the ranch? Oh my God. Stop talking about the ranch. AMPM history shows the founder cannot be the leader. That's why the only thing I'm in charge of is the public business background. I am not a dictator to the members of Observer Ranch, the people there long term. I am not the head of the governors of the ranch. I am not the head of any committee at the ranch. It's set up the way it should be because I'm not stupid. AMPM. Layla, that's a funny troll. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. All right. Immortal Fantasy. Cool name. If I build a bunker with concrete and I reinforce with rebar, do you think that would melt from the electric charge and structurally fail? Second floor planned hempcrete. I hear there is a non-conductive fiberglass rebar or something like that. I would go with that. If at all possible, like if you have no choice but to go that route, okay, go that route. If there's another way to do it, find the other way to do it. What do I know about the strong thermal velocity enhancement called Steve? You think I haven't seen this yet? Okay, Song Loria. Well, I was talking about it before it gave the name Steve. 2, this isn't that complicated. It's an auroral form. It's been seen for hundreds of years. Official astronomers didn't necessarily know to differentiate it. Some didn't believe it existed because they hadn't seen it. I've talked about it like 30 times on the show, and I don't talk about it very much anymore because it's mundane and it doesn't matter in the least. Kate Rogers, Mr. MBB333 is as much of a fraud as Mav. Do not mention that name here again. Also, the 4 times I have debunked his nonsense in the past, he trolled the bejesus out of this channel. And I didn't even mention him by name. I just gave facts. Turned out I was right, he was wrong, and he trolled the bejesus out of me. Do not mention that name here again. Thank you for the Sunday morning entertainment. What the hell are you, Jason? Are you in Australia? What about graviton waves? Brett, I don't know what a graviton wave is. I know what a gravitational wave is, and I know what a gravity wave is. They're very different things. Chris Dunlop. Now the pole shift. Corrupt Skies. When will the sun have an SME next? 1, it's a CME. 2, I'm not Jesus, and I don't have a crystal ball. P, go to observerranch.com and contact us through the website. It's because you said sorry and you were kind about it. GV, that's a funny comment. Patriot, I'm a residential security expert, ACES board certified physical security professional, and soon to be a realtor. I would love to connect or at least get your wisdom and input for consulting my clients. Shoot me an email. We'll see what we can do. Orwell today. What's Oppenheimer's problem with you? They don't stop. So Oppenheimer is pissed off. He's been pissed off since they put him in jail all those years ago. And yes, he did go to jail. He's pissed off that he came to one of my conferences and nobody listened to what he had to say. He's pissed off that his channel doesn't have the kind of following that this one does. He's pissed off that I blocked him from trolling with unbelievably foul vulgarity. And he's pissed off that my wife had to block him on Facebook because he was trolling her. If you watch Diamond from Oppenheimer, you can't tell your ass from your head. The dude is a troll. The dude knows very little about anything. And yes, he is a convict. Was your dad a weatherman? No. Corrupt Skies, SME, surface mass ejection observed on other stars like Betelgeuse. That's called a micronova. I've never heard anybody call it a surface mass ejection. There are mass loss events and dust production events, but nobody serious in astronomy calls it an SME. And the next solar micronova will be in the 2030s or 2040s. Did what happened to O'Keefe and Project Veritas cause you to have to look at the way things were legally situated for you at all? That was crazy. No. It's just me here, man. Nobody's going to run me out of space weather news. But what happened to James O'Keefe at Project Veritas was complete bullshit. Corrupt Skies. I know every kind of solar phenomenon in astronomy. Whoever's giving you this surface mass ejection name doesn't know what they're talking about. That's not something that is used in the peer-reviewed literature. Close your mouth. Yeah, people are frustrating. Could you give a brief rundown of what will happen to the British Isles? Hell no. If I started doing that, do you have any idea? That's all I would get asked on these things. Ben, what's going to happen here? Ben, what's going to happen here? Ben, what's going to happen on the left side of my ass? No, I'm not doing that. You ever chat to AI about space weather versus MMCLC8 climate change? Yeah, AI doesn't know a whole lot about what's going on. It's very much programmed to be one-sided. Damo, your ego sucks, Ben. Oh no. Oh no. It got me. I'm hit. I'm hit. Oh God, my ego sucks. Damo, you're a clown. Goodbye. Westy, good to see you, man. Thank you for the teal pair. Biscuit, you're not shadow banned. I can see you. All right. I'm noticing a specific dearth of relevant questions coming up right now, except for the ones who are like, hey, what's going to happen to this part of the world? What's going to happen to this part of the world? No, I'm not doing that. Thank you, Chris Dunlop. Appreciate that. All right, guys. We're probably going to call it here. It's been a little over 90 minutes. I appreciate this. This has been a lot of fun. I got to crap on some losers. That was fun too. There were some excellent questions. But in all seriousness, guys, I will see you in the morning for the daily show. Be safe, everyone.